Oh, y'all, this is just wild. Even after his passing, Irv Gotti's name is still wrapped up in drama, this time because of his long history of obsessing over Ashanti. For years, he made it real clear that he couldn't let go of the past, constantly bringing up their old relationship like it was still 2002.
I still had feelings for this girl.
Yeah, I said that, yes.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
Nori, you've been around me a little bit, not like that.
Right, I know.
Have you ever heard me talk about this girl?
No, absolutely. Absolutely not. Oh.
I don't, like, she's done.
All right.
She's done. With me.
Yes.
No one's sitting around thinking.
The problem is she now Irv? But anyway, now that Ashanti and Nelly are back together and thriving, people can't help but wonder how Nelly really felt about Irv's nonstop chatter. Well, word on the street is that Nelly had plenty to say about Irv's obsession, and let's just say he was not here for it. Let's get into all the details. Oh y'all, let's really talk about it. The real issue Irv Gotti had with Ashanti, it wasn't just business. It was the fact that she chose Nelly over him. And when Ashanti and Nelly got together, you can bet your bottom dollar Irv spiraled out of control. His obsession with her was already bad, but after she made it official with Nelly, whew, it got real dark. And now, word on the street is that Nelly has plenty to say about Irv's years-long fixation, the same one Ashanti says nearly ended her career. Y'all remember how Ashanti was all up on Nelly during their 2023 Vegas performance? That chemistry was crazy hot, and everybody knew they were back on that.
I've never been married. My goal is to die married. It's not to have been married.
Then, by September, Nelly straight up confirmed it in an interview with Rashida, and not long after, they made it Instagram official. And whew, you know that was like a dagger to Irv's heart, because he had already spent years making it very clear that he was obsessed with Ashanti. Social media in shambles. Everybody was cracking jokes, saying somebody needed to check on Irv. 20 years later, and he's still crying over her. He had a whole wife and kids. Now he want to put her business out there. He petty, bitter, and trifling. He a grown-ass man quit crying. Jaw said he was a hater. But then, tragedy struck. Irv passed away not too long ago, and while some folks thought Ashanti might be petty about it, she actually took the high road. Her tribute? Classy. She said, "I can't believe things ended like this, and it makes me so sad. We weren't on the best terms the past few years, but as I've always said, through our ups and downs, I will forever be grateful for everything that you've done for me. We made history, and that will remain infinite. I've always respected your musical genius and ability to push me to be my best. All the greatness and positive things that came far outweigh the dark and negative times. I have always prayed for you to find peace, sending love and prayers to the entire family. Rest well. Rest in peace, Irv." And she even acknowledged that despite all the drama, their history was legendary. Now, given the way Irv used to move, a lot of people were shocked she handled it like that. And listen, when we talk about their messy history, oh, it goes deep. When Irv launched his label under Def Jam, Ja Rule was his first star, dropping Veni Vedi Veci in '99. Then came Ashanti, the R&B princess who made a name for herself with those fire hooks and her own hit records. By 2002, she was dominating, giving us Always on Time with Ja, What's Love with Fat Joe, and her own banger, Foolish, which sat at #1 for 10 weeks. But behind the scenes, Irv wasn't just running a label. He was out here making Ashanti's life hell. For years, folks whispered about Irv and Ashanti having a thing, even while he was married. Nothing was ever proven, but the streets were talking, and that speculation never died down. The industry treated it like a real-life soap opera, and Irv, he was loving every second of the attention. Then in 2022, he really spilled on Drink Champs, admitting that he and Ashanti had beef, and that part of it was over her masters.
Is it about the masters? Because I watched the Breakfast Club.
Listen,
try to do a good thing, a good job.
Let's speak on the masters. I know that's gonna come up. First of all, I'm not like Lucien Grange.
From Empire?
No, Lucien Grange owns he runs the Universal Music Group.
Oh, that's when Kanye said, "I'm not Lucien."
Yeah.
I ain't know that's what he thought. I thought
Lucien Grange.
Holy shit! I let you know I ain't getting that much money. I gotta calm down.
Lucien Grange ain't giving nobody back their masters.
Wow.
And he owns thousands of them. I own a hot maybe 25.
Right.
Lucien Grange wasn't in the studio with you making those records.
Right.
I made those Ashanti records.
Can you rock with me?
Oh, I made those records. You know what I'm saying? Like, She wrote them, but she wrote them with the help of me telling her what to write.
Is it about the masters? And this is where Irv really started losing it. See, he didn't just have a problem with Ashanti dating Nelly, he was big mad. And the way he found out was while he was chilling at home, watching the NBA. He found out that Nelly just pulled up with Ashanti and he was shook. But instead of just accepting it and moving on, he hit Ashanti with some straight up hater behavior. Word is, he told her she couldn't come to the studio anymore and even suggested that if she wanted to be with Nelly, she needed to find a new label.
Okay, yeah, me and Nelly were dating. Irv was salty. Irv would not let me come to the studio to record. Irv was telling everyone not to record with me. Why do I want to stay in that situation? How can I stay in that situation? You know what he said to me?
What?
He said, nah, you want to be with Nelly? Go sign a dirty A&T. We don't want you. What am I supposed to do?
Me and Nelly were dating. Irv was salty, and Ashanti, she knew what was up. She later admitted that she truly believed Irv was out to ruin her. And honestly, the receipts were there. He blacklisted her, told people not to work with her, and literally kicked her out of her own creative spaces. And if that wasn't enough, he hit the streets running his mouth, saying all kinds of nasty things about her in interviews. At this point, it wasn't even about music. He was just on a personal mission to make her life miserable.
I mean, Irv got into a dark place. Like, he was blocking a lot of things. You know what I'm saying? Like, Irv was like telling DJs don't play the record. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Wow.
again, we already
He never
spoke.
called me and said that to me, just full disclosure. But that's something you know he did factual.
And
Okay.
Again, we already spoke about.
Irv got into a dark place, and the lowest of the low, Irv went on record claiming that he and Ashanti were messing around before she recorded her 2002 hit Happy. And not only was this messy, but it was so unnecessary. Like, what did we need to know that for? But Irv kept repeating it over and over, talking about he was just telling his truth. At this point, the obsession was embarrassing, and the whole industry saw it. So now that Irv is no longer here, it really makes you think, was all that bitter energy even worth it? Because Ashanti, she's still shining, and Nelly is still standing right beside her. So, after all the backlash he got for airing out his so-called truth, you would think he'd try to clean it up, right? Wrong. Instead, when he was asked about it on the VMA's red carpet, he doubled down and kept pushing the same tired narrative.
Yeah, so for all of you in the comments saying I'm broke and like that, I signed a deal for like 300 million. I'm not broke, y'all.
And then he ran to Essence talking about, it's my life. They paid me a bunch of money to talk about it. He really tried to act like people were mad at him for just sharing his story. But let's be real, it wasn't his story to tell. He even threw in a half-hearted, I wish Ashanti all the best, like that was gonna fix things. And then, the kicker, he tried to make it seem like people were dragging him into the Me Too movement when all folks were saying was, why are you still talking about her?
Well, congratulations to you on a laundry list of things that we're going to get to today.
Meanwhile, Ashanti was out here setting the record straight. When she was on the IRL podcast, she made it very clear that whatever situation they had was not as serious as Irv made it seem. In fact, she straight up said Irv was never her boyfriend. Who? And she didn't stop there. She also confirmed that Irv's team had tried to get her to be part of his documentary, and she said absolutely not. And can you blame her? Because according to her, Irv lied about a lot of things just to make her look bad. She even pointed out how confused she was by his version of their relationship, since Irv had several girlfriends at the time. Like, sir, you had other women, but you were still acting like Ashanti owed you something? At this point, Ashanti started calling him what he really was, a narcissist. She said he took something that wasn't even that deep and blew it up into this huge dramatic story. And the wildest part, he knew he was lying, but just kept on lying. Like, she even said it got to the point where it was scary and just straight up mental. And honestly, she wasn't the only one who saw it. We all saw it. Nelly saw it. And baby, Nelly even clowned him for it. When Nelly and Ashanti were on their My 2000s playlist tour, Nelly took a real slick jab at Irv's Drink Champs interview. During one of their shows, he told the crowd, Ayo, I got floor seats to the next game. What's happening? And listen, if you know, you know. That was a direct reference to the night Irv found out about him and Ashanti. But here's where it gets real messy. Nelly has reportedly been saying that Irv's obsession with Ashanti wasn't just personal, it was professional sabotage too. Allegedly, Irv would give away Ashanti's songs on purpose just to punish her for not being with him. And we know this has some truth to it because Irv literally gave away I'm Real, which was meant for Ashanti, to J-Lo. Now Ashanti had already recorded and mixed the track with her vocals, vocals, but Irv just handed it over to J-Lo like it was nothing. And while Ashanti said she was happy for J-Lo's success, she also made it clear that she was hurt and felt betrayed, and that's not even the worst of it. Fat Joe even spilled that Irv almost tried to take What's Love away from Ashanti too. According to Joe, Irv and Ja Rule woke him up at 3 a.m. to play him the track, and they tried to convince him to do it with J-Lo instead of Ashanti, but Joe wasn't going for it. He insisted that Ashanti had to stay on the record. And get this, Ashanti didn't even know Irv was planning to take that song away from her until Fat Joe told her. Baby, the sabotage was real. So Nelly was right. Irv was so obsessed with Ashanti that he actively tried to destroy her career just because she moved on. And looking back, you gotta wonder, did all this behind-the-scenes mess actually affect Ashanti's career in the long run? Because Irv had major influence in the industry at the time. What do y'all think? Did Irv's actions actually hold Ashanti back, or was her talent too strong to be stopped? Drop your thoughts in the comments.